As Mark Twain once said, it is easier to stay out than get out. And while that may be true, it's much better than the alternative.
Hello and welcome to our new YouTube channel where you can follow along with us on the trails we hike. This first episode takes us to the High Uintas in northeastern Utah at the heart of one of the only east-west mountain ranges in the United States.
And we finally arrive here at the stunning Red Lion in Elko, Nevada. I grab a quick smoke before getting ready for a pack check as we prep for a quick exit from base camp the morning of the hike.
We have a handful of products we want to test in the field. For instance, that plastic straw there contains a pocket saw that you can fit into a paracord survival bracelet. But does it work? We hope to find out. And of course, there's the trusty GoPro, our primary camera for this trip. I'm currently shooting this on my iPhone. And with that, we get our pack set in time to get some rest after the long 8-hour drive through the Sierras and across the Nevada desert. In the morning, we gather our things into the truck and make our way onto base camp in the High Uintas.
Yeah, exactly. After stopping at Backcountry.com's warehouse in Salt Lake City and then again at Food Town in Camas to get some grub for the hike, we get to my favorite part of the drive, the home stretch to Holiday Park. That's Moffett Peak there in the distance, and that's basically where we're headed. I have a family cabin out there going back to the 1930s. However, one of our friends and neighbors took us in this time, Joe and Janine Pratt. I had just returned from Utah, so ours was in use. My family and I went to the Tahoe National Forest and then up here for a couple weeks. And actually, earlier in the year, Jeremy and I canoed down the Green River to where it meets the confluence. So this was my third Utah trip this year, a personal best. Once arrived, we took a quick stroll around Yellow Lake before the sun fell, and then got a good night's sleep before our early departure to the Bald Mountain Trailhead, on our way to the Notch Mountain Trail. All right, we are here. We followed Joe up to the Crystal Lake Trailhead parking lot, where we left the truck and jumped in Joe's car. Then Joe drove us that last quarter mile to the Bald Mountain Trailhead, where we unloaded and did a quick weigh-in for each pack. Once set, we say goodbye to Joe and take a look at the map one last time before heading out.
We'll begin by walking through a meadow at the Bald Mountain Trailhead parking lot before meeting up with the Notch Trail on the way to Clegg Lake. We'll continue on past Lakes Dean and Notch to settle down at Bench Lake for lunch. Then we'll make our way down, around, and up Notch Mountain, past the trail junction to Meadows Lake, to finally arrive at Lake Ibantik where we'll camp for the night. In the morning, we'll pack up and make our way up, through, and down the Notch, into the meadows around Hope Lake for a final stop at Wall Lake. Then we'll take the short hike through the lakes Lily and Pond to our truck waiting for us at the Crystal Lake Trailhead.
From Jack Kerouac's On the Road. Nothing behind me, everything ahead of me, as is ever so on the road. Another nugget from Kerouac, as we set out to prove it once again. Having walked through the meadow, I now search for a little higher ground to see over the fallen trees and try to find the trail. After taking a second, I spot Jeremy not too far away.
So far, we have followed the Notch Trail all the way to Clegg Lake. We'll enjoy the scenery here for a bit before moving on toward Bench Lake.
It was around here that we realized neither of us had a way to tell time. Again. I say again as this happened to us going down the Green River, and we had to tell time using only the sun for 4 days. Luckily, this was just an overnighter, or so we thought, but we'll get to that later. After leaving Notch Lake, we realized it would be a good time to fill ourselves up with water and then our bottles as we come up on a stream. I also welcomed the opportunity to take off my pack and stretch a bit. Luckily, the sun was out after a fairly nasty storm cloud was following us north up the trail for a while, but eventually pushed off to the east. After a snack and a quick breather, I do a little bit of exploring, following the river down a ways. On my way back, I find Jeremy getting our things ready for a refill.
Yeah, or cleaning up from one anyway. I always bring both a water filter and a backup solution like tablets with me on the trail. It's a small price to pay to ensure you are only a water source away from drinkable water. Here we are at Bench Lake, where we'll take a quick break and then continue making our way to Lake Ibantik.
We breathe in a deep view and provide a quick reboot before jumping back onto the trail. You may have noticed, we didn't actually eat lunch at Bench Lake. Instead, feeling pretty good and not knowing exactly what time it is, we decide to wait for our meal once we've arrived at Lake Ibantik. Okay, so we're at Lake Ibantik, and yes, we are finally having lunch, but as I alluded to earlier, our plans were changing. While we ate, we finalized that we should skip the overnight and just finish the hike after lunch. While we really wanted to camp, particularly on the east side, to take in some stunning golden hour scenes and do some fire demos as well, we were on a schedule the next morning, and again, without a watch, we couldn't guarantee that we could keep it.
So with that, we packed our things and started marching our way over the notch and into the meadows below.
From that's where we're going, to the notch.
After getting hailed on coming up the notch, the sun greets us with a gorgeous meadow, lifting our spirits and carrying us down the trail to Hope Lake.
Here we are at our last vista before heading down to Hope Lake on our way to Wall. We look back and get a glimpse of where we started as we get a good view of Bald Mountain in the background.
Leaving Wall Lake, we'll finish off the hike with a quick trek past the Lily Lakes to the Crystal Lake Trailhead parking lot.
After crash landing here at Wall, we finally compose ourselves and begin to stumble the rest of the way to our truck. And as we drive through the canyon, we say goodbye to another glorious summer in the High Uintas.